Let's do this.
Yeah, we're just getting started. I know that you want it, baby.
Welcome to Five Fires Podcast. I'm the main host, Mondo. Let's do this. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Just the craziness of the castle unveiling. It was probably the biggest news that hit all the theme parks this week, as it overtook Knott's Berry Farm's grand opening of Calico River Rapids. I actually went to Calico River Rapids on Friday for its grand opening. Thankfully, at the time when I went with Try Everything Daily, it wasn't too packed. And we actually got to enjoy the ride 2 times, and it was very relaxing. It wasn't chaotic. I do not know how it was on Saturday and Sunday, but on Friday, the grand opening, it was awesome. And we got to enjoy the ride in the daylight. As you could see more of the details throughout the whole ride, and I loved it. Some of the merchandise that arrived, I wanted to buy more, but I just stuck to buying the t-shirt for Calico River Rapids. If you were able to buy some of the t-shirts, you did get the opportunity to get a special button that usually costs $6 if you just buy it by itself. But if you buy a shirt and the button at Knott's Berry Farm for Calico River Rapids, it was only $3. So that was a steal. That was a big time steal. But for as grand of an opening that Calico River Rapids had, Disneyland just took over the news. And I want to tell you, nothing outshines the castle. And what happened is on Friday, about half of the castle was unveiled and everybody went nuts. The castle's unveiled. We got to get to the castle. And everybody was just speculating when the walls are going to come down. That was like the next big speculation. But a lot of the colors and theming that went into the new castle was finally unveiled this past Friday. And it was wonderful news because the castle's so pink. It's so vibrant. And it's, in a sense, very saturated. A lot of the castle is pink, and as it gradually goes all the way to the top spire at the very top middle of the castle, it gets lighter and lighter. And the castle tiles all on the roofs are very, very, in a sense, like bright blue and dark at the same time. And in the middle of the castle, it has a lot of sparkles. It's just wonderful. It's a wonderful outlay. I love it. There's a lot of people that have a lot of dislike towards it, but I understand what they're saying, and I get it. But for me personally, I thought it was a great update and refurbishment, and it was quite expensive, as we all know. But the castle unveiling was the biggest news that just took over social media. It was reposted, posted so many times, gazillions of times through all of Instagram, all of Twitter. It was the talk on Facebook. It was just the talk of the week. It took over. And then on Monday, today, it got unveiled even more, and the side walls came down, and we got to see even more of the castle. The only way you were able to see any of the castle really on Saturday and Sunday was if you were to just jump over the fence and get a quick 1-second view, or just lean your camera over the fence if you were tall enough. But now the sides of the castle walls are all down, so you get a good glimpse at what the castle is going to look like. You can't just see it from the very middle yet because the middle walls are still up, but for what the castle is going to look like, it is just beautiful, and it's gold everywhere, all in the right places. More news from Disneyland is we are having an AP review, and it's only going to be one day, which is surprising. I wish they would have done this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But it looks like it's just going to be one day, and it's going to be in Tomorrowland Theater from 5 to 9. We're going to be getting Toy Story 4 sneak peek. Are you kidding me? And if you head over to Starcade, it says that we're going to be reunited with some characters or some familiar faces, which in my opinion, it's going to be Buzz, Bo Peep, and Woody. Couldn't remember his name right now. So we're going to get maybe a meet and greet with the new and improved Bo Peep. From what I know, I think Bo Peep had a meet and greet back in the day, but we're going to get a new and improved version. So I'm excited for that, as she has changed a lot for Toy Story 4. I don't know how I feel about this just being one day, because it's going to be all chaotic, but I'm going to try my best to make it. I'm going to try. But one thing that I want to talk about going into all this, that the reason I'm saying I'm going to try, the parking situation is just getting unbearable. It's getting a little ridiculous. Today, Monday, and I've been saying this for a long time. This is not the first time I've said this. It's just crazy. People ask me all the time, what's the busiest day of the week? What day should I go? And I always say, stay away from Mondays. I don't know what it is about Mondays, but Mondays are honestly the most packed day at Disneyland. It's usually pack meter 8. Like it averages pack meter 8, without a doubt. But lately, in the last month, or 2 months to be honest, leading up to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, Mondays have been just pack meter broken. Today, around like 3 o'clock, all of the parking structures from Toy Story, Simba, Lion King, whatever, Toy Story, Mickey and Friends, it's all closed. The parking lots were literally that full. And I don't know why the parks are being so busy lately, but it's just one of those things that it's just Disneyland is getting that much hype. Disneyland is producing that such of a great of a product that this many people want to come. And a lot of people want to put blame on the grad night. A lot of people want to put blame on that $60 pass that was sold for SoCal because it's ending soon. But honestly, I just think it's people just going to Disneyland. This many people are going to Disneyland. And I do know that the lower passes are blocked, but it doesn't matter. We're still getting the Disneyland Park packed at all times. There's no more downtime. It's gone. Do people even work anymore? And honestly, I think the right answer is no. People go to Disneyland on Mondays. Oh, man. And to have more exciting news, the Mickey Bucket has finally arrived at Disneyland. This is one of the most anticipated, awaited buckets that just never came, as Get Your Ears On Festival is going to end soon. So better late than never for the Mickey Bucket, but you could finally buy it. And it's usually, I think the stores all around the hub of Disneyland, or not the stores, but the popcorn stand around Disneyland is selling it. I think there is a couple places in California Adventure that were selling it also. But it was being sold for $18, and I don't think you could get AP discount on that. So it was just a straight $18, and it looks exactly like the ones that were sold in Florida, but the ones in Florida were AP exclusive. So thank goodness we could complete the trio. So now we have the Steamboat Willie, we have the Minnie, and then the Mickey Bucket. So hopefully whoever's freaking out right now, I think there's going to be abundant of these buckets. It's not going to be one of those that just sell out instantly. And the reason I say that, because it's not an AP bucket. So don't worry about it. Just get it on Wednesday, get it on Friday. It's going to be there. Take your time. Take your time. More exciting news is the Rainbow Pride merchandise has finally arrived. And this is kind of a funny one because on Saturday, I think it was Saturday or Friday. I can't remember what day it was. But I went to Disneyland, and we actually saw some people with the Pride ears, the Pride Mickey ears with the bow. And I asked her, where'd you get them? And she kindly told us at Brer Patch, is what I think it's called. And this is the ear store that's located by Splash Mountain Fast Passes. This is not a store that usually releases ears, especially as big as news as this one. For the Pride ears, they arrived, and they were sold for $27.99. They did have a hat, too, that had Mickey ears on it, and I do know that that hat is exclusive to our Disneyland, as Walt Disney World has their own version of it, which is exclusive only to their Disneyland. But for the ears, they have arrived finally, let me rewind a little bit. The ears that dropped on Saturday, it was kind of, in a sense, an accident. They weren't really supposed to be released just yet. So they were all taken back, and they weren't sold until finally today. So they were finally resold and they're available throughout the whole resort now. So if you want to get the Pride ears for the version of the Mickey ears or the hat Mickey ears, they are available. And I did see a lot more of the Pride merchandise available at World of Disney. So if you're looking for the Pride merchandise, most of it is located at World of Disney. You could get the shirts, you could get the necklace, and they do also have some tumblers I'm not too sure if many of these items are new or from last year, but they are available again this year, thankfully. And they also do have a really cool Mickey phone case that's Pride, that's available for iPhone XR. I'm not sure if they have it for any other versions, but they are available. Also, I do want to talk about some new merchandise that nobody's ever laid eyes on. And this is the first time that we've got any word or any news about. And it's from Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And we got a visual on some BB-8 and R2-D2 headbands. And it looks like it has like the top cap of BB-8, which is the head. And then it also has a different variation, which is the top cap of R2-D2. And these, they're like bands. So the very top of the band has the head of either R2-D2 or BB-8. And they do make noise in regards to the character. So I don't know how to describe the noise, but it's just what those droids make. Oh, that's as good as it's gonna get. That's all I got. But I don't know how much they're being sold for. I saw them today on Instagram, which I thought was really cool. Another thing is we did get information on the custom droids. Some people did make some droids today. And what I'm talking about is today was the first day of the beginning of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, as the cast members are allowed to do their reservations now. And they were allowed to bring a guest, which is awesome. So a lot of people are experiencing Galaxy's Edge already as of today and from now on. The way that they're doing it, so nothing kind of leaks out in a sense, inside the park, is you have to put your phone in a package and then they just seal it up. So you cannot use your phone while you're in the park, which is a bummer, as we all want to take pictures, we all want to do videos, we all want to do blogs and just talk about all the amazing details that are going behind the park. But soon enough, all this information is going to be out there and we're all going to have it as clear as day. But for right now, a lot of it is unknown, which is fun. And that's my favorite because I don't know what to expect. I will be going to Disneyland Star Wars Galaxy's Edge opening day, May 31st. But for now, it's just watching all the other stuff leak out and just speculating and having fun. And I love that I feel like all the news for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is just on this slow burn of leaking information. So it doesn't come fast, it doesn't come swift, it's just slow. As we got this news about the BB-8, the R2-D2 headband, the droid that you could customly build and take home. And then I also saw a really cool backpack that you could fit it in there, which was awesome. I don't know if that's something that all comes together, but you could, or you can fit a droid in the backpack that they're selling at Galaxy's Edge. For the droid, what I do know is that that is $100. I don't know if you could go beyond that and get a more expensive droid, but it is $100. For the Savi's workshop, which is to create your own hand-built lightsaber, which who doesn't want to do that? Are you kidding me? It's gonna cost $200. $200. That is right. It's gonna cost you a day pass, annual pass, or a day pass park hopper just to have a lightsaber. It's gonna cost $200. And what that's gonna allow you is you're gonna get a hilt, which I don't even know what that is. You're gonna get 4 sleeves. You gotta pick 2. And then you're gonna get emitters. You gotta pick 1. And you get to get a pommel cap. And there's gonna be 2 options. You gotta pick 1. And then there's 2 sets of activation plates and switches. And you gotta pick 1 set. So that's kind of how that's gonna work out for Savi's workshop. I'm excited for that. And thanks for Try Everything Daily for this awesome information. I don't know how I feel about the lightsaber being $200. But as we all know, this is this hot and it's gonna sell out. What you could do with the lightsabers though, is they are gonna be interactive with the land of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And what I'm trying to reference to, if you know the wands that are interactive in the wizarding world of Harry Potter, it's going to be the same format. But one thing that I heard, and this is all speculation and rumors, don't quote me on any of this. You could only go into the interactive areas if you have a lightsaber. So a lot of this is going to be kind of exclusive to the people who have lightsabers. And as I was talking earlier with my buddy Danny from Try Everything Daily, I was like, are these lightsabers going to be let in through security? Are these lightsabers allowed inside Disneyland? What's going on? Are we just going to be in a world where there's like 1,000 people every day coming into Disneyland with lightsabers? There's just so many things that are changing in this Disneyland current situation. And I'm embracing it all. I'm ready for the change. I love change. It's going to be quite weird to see a lot more Jedis and just the rebellions. I don't even know what's going to happen. It's just going to be crazy. Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, I feel like, is going to change the landscape for about a year or two, maybe even 3, of just how things work. And from what I'm hearing, the merchandise is just unlimited. And for the people who are going to Galaxy's Edge to buy merchandise, you better get a small loan because there's just that much. And for right now, we don't know what's going to be the hot item to get, but there's just unlimited merchandise of what I have heard at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. One thing I do want to talk about merchandise, since we're on the subject of merchandise, Disneyland came out with their statement on their parks blog talking about merchandise. And I thought this was quite a little bit of bad news and quite awkward, if you ask me. But it says, and I'm just going to read verbatim what this says. If you can't wait to get your mementos, please know that lineups for merchandise start no earlier than 2 a.m. on May 31st. Parking opens at midnight. All merchandise is subject to availability while supplies last. So what I'm reading into that, if you want merchandise, you don't actually have to go inside the park to get the Star Wars Galaxy Edge merchandise, which I think is weird because I thought the whole exclusivity of this merchandise was that you had to go into Star Wars Land to get it. But that's not necessarily the case, at least from what Disneyland is saying. So a lot of and this could be a good thing and bad thing for a lot of people. But one thing that I am prepared for is the merchandise, the merchandise lovers, just the people that come to Disneyland for the merchandise. It's great news for them. They're going to have an opportunity to buy all the merchandise they want. But I do feel that this added a lot more to the chaos of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. We all know that this is going to probably be one of the most momentous, just breaking record days in regards to capacity, in regards to parking, in regards to just the chaotic, anxiety-filled mess that's going to be May 31st. As we could already see, the park has just been nuts this past weekend. I was a little scared to blog about this subject of the park being so crazy, but I felt like people need to know and just get more of a current situation vibe of what's occurring at Disneyland. On Saturday, the park got so busy that people had to eat on the ground at Galactic Grill. And the lines for Galactic Grill literally were touching like the entrance of Nemo. That's how long the lines were for just Galactic Grill. And the line for Pirates of the Caribbean, which is on the way other side of Disneyland, that line literally was touching Haunted Mansion, which if you know where these two rides are at, you're going, what? So this line would wrap around over there by Haunted Mansion, go over the bridge above Pirates of the Caribbean, and somewhere in the treehouse, or Tarzan treehouse, is where the line started for Pirates of the Caribbean. That's how crazy it was. And that was just Saturday. And then on Monday, all the parking lots are filled up by like 3 o'clock, which is just unheard of for a Monday. It's just crazy. I'm a loss for words sometimes of just how crazy it's getting at Disneyland, but I just want to get this information out there so everyone's aware of how crazy it's going to be. But parking is going to open at 12 a.m. for Galaxy's Edge. And for the people who are thinking like, oh, I'll just show up at 6 or I'll just show up at 8 or whatever, trust me, they ain't going to be parking for the people showing up anywhere near that time period. Mickey and Friends and Pixar and Pals, or whatever they're calling that parking structure, it's going to be packed to capacity, probably about maybe 4 a.m., 3 a.m., May 31st. It's not going to get past that. The crowds and just the craziness that Star Wars Galaxy Edge is bringing, all this hype, it's incredible. It's just beyond our imagination of how many people want to be part of this glorious moment that we're going to have May 31st for the opening of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Also, I do want to talk about, to end this, some Universal Studios updates. I had a chance to get to Universal Studios this past Sunday, and it was awesome. The crowds weren't crazy. I got to enjoy everything I wanted to do. I got to do Transformers ride. I got to do all the updates as I was doing a video for YouTube. But we do see one of the tents for Halloween Horror Nights has finally been put up. And when I first looked at it, I was like, how's that going to be a maze? It doesn't look like enough space. But talking it over with a couple people, they're like, that is one of the main areas that Halloween Horror Nights uses for a maze. So it's definitely going to be a maze. And one of the ends, and this is all located behind the Mummy. This is the first tent that has been put up for Halloween Horror Nights. It looks like a clown tent has been put up. So the speculation is that we're going to have a Killer Clowns of Outer Space Halloween Horror Nights maze. All of that is a tongue twister. But one thing I did bring up is people love Killer Clowns of Outer Space over there in Florida. I don't know if we're going to get the same reception over here in California for Killer Clowns of Outer Space. I have watched the movie. I remember the first time I watched it, and I will keep this as honest as possible. I thought it was straight stupid. I was like, what am I watching? And it was one of my old friends, Javi, who he was like a diehard Killer Clowns of Outer Space fan. And I was like, Javi, how can you like this, man? And I'm using like very kind words of how I like approached him. And he was like, dude, you don't know what you're talking about, and blah, blah, blah. And I remember I watched Killer Clowns of Outer Space like maybe 10 years later or something, because this is an old movie. And I actually enjoyed it for what it is. It's crazy as heck. The concepts and just the madness that happens in that movie is crazy and out of this world for sure. But Killer Clowns of Outer Space, a lot of people are hyped for it. One of the things I hope happens this year is we get some synchronization with It. Maybe we could have an It maze for Halloween Horror Nights, as the movie is actually dropping, I think, a week before Halloween Horror Nights grand opening, which is super cool. So we're going to get It, and then the very next week we get Halloween Horror Nights. As for what I know, there's no date on when the tickets are going to be available, but you best believe I am buying I'm going to buy a ticket or tickets to Halloween Horror Nights, as one of my main things I wanted to focus on this year is horror. And I will be going to Midsummer Scream, which is going to be awesome. We're going to have a big crowd there. We're going to have Team Cali Bay doing that event, so I'm excited for that. And I've never been to this event, so it's going to be something that's new to me, and I'm excited, but a little bit nervous, to be honest. But I will be doing, I just want to give some foreshadowing of what's to come. I will be doing a whole podcast on Calico River Rapids, and just talking about the detail, talking about all the theming, and just going into opinions and what I loved, and maybe if I could talk about some things I didn't like, which honestly there isn't very much. I straight up love the ride, but I want to have a full podcast just focus on that, as Knott's Berry Farm did an amazing job. And big shout out to Knott's Berry Farm for a successful grand opening of Calico River Rapids. If you don't already follow me on Instagram at the Cali Bay, you can follow me at the Cali Bay, and also I am on Twitter at the Cali Bay. I try to stay active as much as possible on Twitter. I just want to hit all the social media platforms that we have. And thank you guys for listening here at Five Fires Podcast. More to come. I'm excited. This is a great platform to just talk about these hot subjects and just get some opinions out there. Also, just a quick thing. I just want to say the Mickey bucket is awesome. I love everything about it. It's so themed to Mickey Mouse himself. The strap that goes around your neck has his shoes, and then the straps that connect to the bucket itself are Mickey's hands. I just want to get that information out there for the people that didn't know, because I know this bucket just arrived over here at our Disneyland. But we're going to be firing it down, fire it down. The Cali Bay is calling it a day. I'm the main host, Mondo.
Fires Podcast. Let's do this.
Yeah, we're just getting started.